So based off of the daily chart, along with the 10-day, 30-minute pattern that I'm seeing, the SPY is setting up for a very lucrative day trading opportunity for zero-date options. If you are serious about making money, make sure that you follow this game plan to a T. I'm going to provide to you step-by-step money-making instructions. Let's get straight into the analysis. So in terms of the SPY, what I want you to be aware of heading into tomorrow is the daily chart foundation. Then we're going to break down the overall 30-minute chart from Friday. Let's get straight into it, man. This is going to show you the best possible levels to be trading at and how to confirm whether it's going to be bullish or bearish. So in terms of the overall daily chart, this is what I want you to be aware of in terms of the overall foundation. You can see right here in terms of this green candlestick on the daily chart, the SPY is gapping up. So what I want to bring awareness to in terms of how SPY normally reacts when it's like uptrending to the right side slanted with this gap up candlestick right here, I went back throughout the chart history, and these are the two daily candlesticks that caught my attention. You can see right here, it's having that same kind of uptrend. It's having that same kind of uptrend. And in terms of how it reacts, well, this daily candlestick looks very similar. The next day, it gaps up, and then it has a gap and go, right? And if you look at this overall pattern right here, very similar candlestick in a sense. The next day, it gaps up. So in terms of the daily chart pattern, what I want you to be aware of, based off of the overall daily candlestick, the foundation that I'm laying out here, if the SPY gaps up heading into tomorrow, is likely going to be a gap and go. So if it's going to be a gap and go, it's going to try to have a strong bullish trend day. And the focus is going to be to buy call options at the higher resistance levels using the break and retest strategy, along with the 30-minute candlestick patterns that I've been teaching you. You're looking for floors at the following levels. So if the SPY does end up gapping up heading into tomorrow, and in terms of how this overall pattern looks, this pattern right here on the overall 1-day 30-minute chart, I'm telling you, if we're starting to gap up, the SPY is really going to try to go bullish. I've seen this overall pattern in the past, and as long as we're gapping up and we're breaking above this 599, it's going to be an overall bullish trend day. So in terms of the break and retest levels, the previous closing price, 597.58, that's going to be make or break. If we open up flat, or if we're having a small gap down, if that reacts as resistance, it's going to try to flip bearish for the day. As long as we're holding above previous closing price, it's going to be a bullish overall move first. That's the make or break level. In terms of the break and retest levels, it's going to be very simple. 598 is going to be the first level. 598.50 to 599 to 599.50. That overall resistance zone, you're going to be looking for support. You're going to be looking for a floor. You're going to be looking for 30-minute bullish patterns. 30-minute candlestick confirmations reacting as a support. So the following levels, like I said, towards 598.50 to 599.50. Those would be the overall main levels. A break above 600 is going to send us to fill the gap. The gap is waiting to fill above at 601.34. If that reacts bearish, then it's going to start to drop back down, right? But 601.34 would be the next level. And then above that, we have a gap that's waiting to fill towards the 606 range, which would be the best level to buy puts. Now, in terms of the other daily chart foundation that I'm seeing, it has to do with the green, red, green pattern. So in terms of the green, red, green pattern, you should already be aware in terms of like what is going to happen in terms of this situation. It's basically the same pattern that I reviewed last week. It's currently happening again. So in terms of this situation, man, whenever SPY is like trending up, slanted to the right side, so you can see right here, we're kind of trended up, slanted to the right side, green, red, green, a small dip under previous closing price. And then if it turns previous closing price into support, it's going to have a strong bullish trend day. Green, red, green, turns previous closing price into support, then has a strong bullish move up, right, before selling off, right? So in terms of the green, red, green, small gap down, or if it turns previous closing price into resistance, going to sell off, try to have a bearish day, especially if we gap down, and then fill the gap that's waiting to fill below. So if the SPY is not gapping up, or if the SPY is, if it's not gapping up, like I said, then the previous closing price is going to be make or break. If we're gapping down, then we're more likely to react bearish. But the point is, if we're not gapping up and we're opening up flat, the previous closing price, 597.50, you can think of that as like make or break. For the bears to take full control, what needs to happen heading into tomorrow on a flat open or a gap down? If we go under 597, the bears are going to take control. So a drop below 597 would send us to the next support level. The next support level is going to be right here at 594.20. In terms of 594.20, this is some previous resistance in the pre-market chart. You can see there was resistance right here during extended hours at 593. The SPY had a nice breakout to 594.30, dropped back down, break and retest, gap and go, reacted as support. So in a sense, when the SPY had a break above 594, it really didn't drop back down and retest. So if we're reacting bearish, it's going to try to drop to 594, right? If we're reacting bearish, maintaining under 597, forming resistance, forming red bearish 30-minute candlestick ceilings, roofs, bearish patterns, is going to try to drop back down to 594. Then it could potentially have a small break and retest, a small bounce first. But then overall, if we take out 594, we're going to drop back down to fill the gap. In terms of the gap that is waiting to fill below, I'm going to disable extended hours so you can see this more clearly. So we have some gaps that are waiting to fill below. On a bearish day, the best level to be buying would be at 591.64 for a gap close reversal. We could bounce at 594 first before going lower. And in terms of the next level below that, we're looking at 590. Next level under that is going to be 582 to 584 if the SPY was reacting bearish in those situations, right? Based off of what I'm seeing, man, all we need is a break above 599 to send us bullish to fill that gap at 601.30. And then to go bearish, all we need is a drop under 597. So that's a very simple game plan. Gap up, gap and go. We're buying calls at the higher levels with the bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmation. Flat open or gap down, previous closing price is make or break. If 597.50 reacts bullish, buy calls. If 597 reacts bearish, track below, buy puts. Drop to 594, it's going to try to bounce first, lock in gains, and then it can go to 591.64 if it reacts bearish to close the gap, start to have a reversal, right? So that's going to be the game plan, man, heading into tomorrow. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I'm going to break down the SPY overall day by day, and I'm going to be recapping all the trades that we're making, inside of Team Roar as well, teaching you exactly how we trade these overall levels and the confirmations that we use within the overall market. I mean, if you used in terms of the curriculum of what it is that I teach you and the way it is that I trade in terms of the 30-minute confirmations, you should have seen the break and retest. You should have seen the overall break and retest. Right here, there was resistance at 595.60, towards key resistance. Right here, SPY had a breakout. Green, red, green is a bullish 30-minute candlestick pattern, and then it starts to uptrend. Green, red, green, the floor is above previous resistance, right? And then this is previous resistance. The floor is above previous resistance, starts to uptrend a little bit, right? Red, green, red is bearish, and it's towards previous support to react as a resistance. This strategy right here, there's some support at 599. Once it cracked, started to sell off, didn't really spike back up. Once it spikes back up, it could potentially react as a resistance. So if you're seeing red, green, red with all of this hours, I tell you all the time, if we're at key resistance and we're just sitting at resistance, forming resistance, 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 resistance. Look at this. These are fucking roofs. These aren't floors forming out this resistance levels. And if it's happening for 2 hours, 3 hours, it's likely going to drop. And red, green, red, bearish patterns, right? Red, green, red, bearish, red, green, red, bearish. So just all things to keep in mind, right? But those are the overall levels. Like I said, man, I'm going to keep you updated throughout the entire week. I mean, if we wanted to do more of like a weekly analysis, you could just see how critical this level is going to be, this 590. 590 is make or break. It's going to try to spike first if it were to drop back down there. If it gets taken out, there's literally no support until 584.50 to 582.30, which would be the next best level for calls if that reacts bearish. That's just like more later into the week, right? So I'm telling you, man, the best levels to focus on. I gave you the best levels in terms of tomorrow. Later into this week, I mean, you can keep an eye on like 606, best level possible to buy puts, all-time high, highest gap that's waiting to fill above, gap close reversal. 60130 is going to be essential heading into tomorrow. It's just if we're gapping up and going super bullish and you're seeing 60130s reacting bullish, you're going to want to avoid puts and wait for the higher level. If it's reacting bearish, you could attempt a quick scalp, but you got to be a little bit careful, man. It's like if we're not having a massive gap up, but we're gapping up, that 60130 level is going to try to just keep on breaking out and reacting as support. But if we're just having a massive gap up heading into tomorrow, like at open, it already had a massive gap up, then it could potentially drop first and react as a resistance and then reverse the gap, right? Just things to keep in mind in terms of timing for the puts in that particular situation, right? Small gap up, gap and go, massive gap up, could drop a little bit first, look for break and retest at the overall levels, right? In terms of the series, later into the week, like the 606 level, later into the week is going to be a serious play. Later into the week, if we react bearish, 591.60, 590, 584.45, and then 582, all serious levels to keep an eye on for calls. And then if 590 ever reacts bearish, then puts. But I'm telling you, based off of what I'm seeing on this overall 10-day, 30-minute pattern, the way I believe this is likely going to play out is bullish. The pattern looks very bullish. So in terms of confirmation, it's looking more of a bullish confirmation. But to truly confirm that, you're going to have to use the analysis that I gave you with the gap up, and then you're going to have to use the 30-minute candlestick chart, to determine if we're getting support or resistance confirmations at the overall levels. But just based off of how this pattern looks, is likely going to be a bullish trend day heading into tomorrow. And then in terms of what's going to flip that, like I said, drop below 597, react as a resistance, we're buying puts. So this is a very simple game plan. And I'm telling you, if you use my game plan with the curriculum, that is that I trade and teach you, you should have a phenomenal green day tomorrow. You need to understand that in terms of tomorrow, we are setting up for such a highly predictable money-making opportunity. So I'm telling you, man, just be very, very aware of this opportunity and take advantage of it. I mean, in terms of how this pattern looks very bullish to me. But another thing you can point out is something like this as well, where I'm telling you, man, if the SPY is gapping up and it's a small gap up and you just see a flush under previous closing price bearish, right? Because this kind of looks bullish to that pattern, right? This pattern right here looks a little bit similar to this one right here, but it's not. It's not the same, and it just looks super fucking bullish. I'm just saying, man, if we do flush under previous closing price with a red bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmation, you can try puts. But other than that, it looks like calls is going to be in the ballpark for tomorrow at all the fucking levels I gave you, man. 598.50, 599.50. Even 600 is a break and retest. I would try to sway away from going above 600 in terms of buying calls, more just selling and locking in profits above 601. Set profit stops. Use this game plan. And you guys let me know. You guys let me know how you did trading using this overall game plan that I've created, using the levels, using the curriculum. You let me know, because I'm telling you, man, the market, in terms of like making these game plans a night before, it doesn't give us these type of predictable money-making opportunities every single day. And in terms of what we're seeing here, this looks like it's going to be a phenomenal play. So, heading into tomorrow, just when you're done trading, you guys let us know how you did using levels, using your experience, using the overall game plan, because I'm telling you, I think this is going to be a phenomenal day for us, man. We're going to absolutely fucking crush it. And like I said, man, if previous closing price reacts bearish, going to be fucking puts, and then calls at the fucking gap. And at the fucking gap is going to be at 591.64. So in terms of Team Roar, let's get into it, man. So in terms of Friday, we did fairly good, but we didn't make a lot of trades. So in terms of the trades, we had a nice quick morning trade, 442.50 Tesla calls for 66 cents. And they went all the way to 100 cents, right? So, that's a phenomenal trade. Very, very quick there, nearly like 70% plus there. In terms of my trades, I had like 2 wins and 1 L. The win I had was SPX calls at the exact lows for 100%. And the last trade I had was an L. I got back in on a different strike. But obviously, I'm not going to risk my entire gains that I made before that. So I went 2 for 3. It was fairly good. Like I said, I timed these SPX calls literally at the exact bottom. It was a nice quick scalp. I waited all the way till power hour to do that. In terms of Ninja, man, into this weekend, we were all trading meme coins, within the chat as the stock market was closed. Ninja, he let the team know about Donald Trump's meme coin that he just launched literally when it was at $10, and that went all the way to like $74 plus. And then I called out within the chat a play as well on the Molina coin, and that was at when I got in, that was at $6, and it went all the way to 13 plus last time I checked. So yeah, man, we called out some meme coins within the chat as the markets close. We like to print non-fucking stop all fucking day at the speed of fucking light. But yeah, guys, if you're serious about making money, if you're serious about joining our secured private organization, it's the first link down below within the description. And you're gonna see we are trading non-fucking stop. I mean, some days it's a couple trades, some days it's like 10 to 15 fucking trades. It depends on the day, man. It varies. It varies. We trade the best setups, the best fucking prices possible. So it's gonna vary. But in terms of what we do, and in terms of what we have a 0-day options trade alert system. We're buying extremely cheap, far out of the money option contracts. We're known for selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains. We have the highest win rate in the game trading 0-day options, above 90%. In terms of our green days, above 95%. And we have the highest win rate. And in terms of the system, we buy cheap, low risk contracts. We do not use stop losses. Contracts are so cheap, so low risk, so low barrier to entry that you can put in your max risk per trade, a couple percent of your account, as your entire position size, right? So if the contracts go to zero and expire worthless, then the most you lose is what you put in. That's the best part about options is you know exactly how much you can lose. You know exactly how much you're risking below your max risk per trade, right? So we rarely sell for losses. If it doesn't work out, we just let it expire zero and go to worthless. And we never use stop losses, right? So you put in your entire max risk per trade into the overall trade, and you're gonna see whenever we're down on a play, like 30, 50%, even 90%, it comes back to life 70% of the times. So we're trading the trend and we're buying a cheap, low risk, far out of money option contract. We're holding the contract. And when the contract is green, when our trade is green, we set a profit stop. If you are green on a trade, and we usually set the profit stop when we're up like 15% plus. So if you're green on a trade, it's impossible to go to red. You get stopped out for profits if you set a profit stop. But if you're red on a trade and you set a stop loss, then you're just gonna fucking lose when you're red on a trade. We don't set fucking stop losses. We use, since the contracts are so cheap, we use that to our advantage in terms of like we don't need to set a stop loss. It's so fucking cheap and so low risk. We can just let it expire worthless and go to zero, right? We could just put in our max risk per trade into the trade and let it go to zero. So basically, if our contracts don't expire in the money, or if we're never green, right? Because when we're green, we get stopped out for profit. So if we're never green, then we'll just take the L on a trade. And since we're trading the trend and we're right about the trend 9 out of 10 times, we don't have to time the trade perfectly. We're going far out of the money, but not far enough to where, in terms of the price action, it's not going to be able to go in the money if we're right about the overall trade. So, like I said, it's a very strategic, advanced system designed for small accounts. It's also designed for rich people who like to pay and risk less and make the biggest percentage gains on the contracts. So, in terms of the ways that we're able to win big, it's by holding our trade. Holding our trades for long periods of time gives us big percentage gains on small position sizes, right? With cheap far the money option contract. And in terms of timing the trade accurately, that can give us a situation where we can still make very massive gains in such a quick period of time if it were timed properly, right? So the point is with this is the best way to trade. If you're trading with real money, this is the best way to go about trading, man. It's the most disruptive system and asset class to be optimizing for far the money 0-day options. I'm telling you, there's just fucking nothing like this in terms of the stock market. You need to be focusing and mastering far out of the money option contracts. It's the cheapest, lowest risk way, and it gives you the biggest percentage gains within the overall market. It allows you to remove stop losses, and losing is a choice, man. Fucking the dead plays come back to life. Fucking set profit stops. Don't set a stop loss. You set a stop loss, you get stopped out for a loss. You set a profit stop, you get stopped out for a fucking profit. You know, it's crazy. You hear so many people talk about setting stop losses, but nobody ever talks about setting a profit stop. Most traders don't know how to trade, and most traders just get in and get out for a small, quick scalp. And the only way to make good money doing that is to size it big. If you have a small account, there's no way, right? I'm talking about trading with real money. I'm not talking about the prop firms and stuff like that. So I'm telling you, if you trade with real money and you're looking to optimize for a system, this is the best fucking system to optimize for possible. There's absolutely nothing like this you're ever gonna fucking see within the marketplace. We're the absolute best to do this. So you know, if you'd like to join our secured private organization with multimillionaires, where you gain access to a private trading channel, to a real-time zero-date options train alert system, where we trade non-fucking stop and win non-fucking stop. These are all the option quotes moving in price. And another way that we increase our wins is not just by holding trades for big wins and selling in the money, but the way we increase our wins is by adding. So when we're up on a trade, we tend to, win big. So we add to the trade. We add to the trade to increase the gains, and then we quickly set that profit stop to protect the new average cost, to protect the, new entire position size value that we have, right? To protect the added on contracts, right? And we get stopped out for profit. Just one small move in our favor, it protects our new average cost, protects our new risk, we get stopped out for profits. So that's another way we increase our gains, right? And when we're down on a play, we tend to buy another strike. When we're down like 50, 70% and we didn't time it right, if we see an opportunity to get in, then we buy a second strike, and that second strike will go up the most. That second strike will fucking print like crazy, and the other trade comes back to life and still goes up. It's like the plays we've been down 90% on, we've still made over 100% on plays that are down over 90%, which is fucking crazy. And typically when we're down that much, we just buy a second strike. And on that one, we'll make like 300 to 500%, sometimes 1,000%. I mean, every single month, we have many trades that go up 1,000%. In terms of where we sell, we have at least 3 trades where we sell for a 1,000% return. So, I mean, if you do the math and you're sizing it accordingly with your max risk per trade, a 1,000% gain means you can have 9 losses in a row at 100% loss. They just expire worthless and go to zero. Your trade never went green. You never set the prop stop, didn't get the prop stop down, it never went green. You'd still be profitable. You would still be up with a 10% win rate. That's why, in terms of like a strong foundation to have as a trader, is to buy something that is cheap and low risk and that has the biggest percentage gain. You understand? We're using the contracts to our advantage to trade the trend. This is the best asset class to be trading the trend. And the percentage gains always outweigh the percentage losses. You could be down 90% on a trade, make another. You could be down 50% on a trade, hedge it, make 100% on the other one. You're positive in that situation if you got out 50%. I mean, you could have 18, 50% losses in a row, 1,000% gain, you're still green. It's like, there's nothing like this on the fucking planet. So I'm telling you, man, in terms of trading, this is what you should focus on, and this is what you should optimize for. And in terms of who you're going to be trading alongside with, we have over a decade of experience in trading. And like I said, we have a real-time zero-date options trading alert system where we're just trading zero-date options, and it's just non-stop fucking winning. It's unlimited fucking winning. It's unlimited fucking printing. We have multi-millionaires within our secured private organization. They share, the information they have. They share some of the trades that they're in, whether that's a day trade, swing trade, investment. So it's a very unique and diverse community, along with a zero-date options train alert system. And then in the morning, you get access to the market game plan. And in terms of the system, man, I'm not going to be going all over all of this, but I'm telling you, man, you got to experience this and see if it's for you. We have many members who are consistently making $500 to $1,000 a day, thousands of dollars a week. We have some members who make 5 figures a week. We have some multimillionaires in here who are making over 6 figures a month. So with that being said, man, if you're serious about making money, it's the first link down below within the description. I can assure you, you use that game plan I gave you, you're going to be printing at the speed of light tomorrow. And I'm telling you, heading into tomorrow, we are going to absolutely crush the market. Tomorrow's going to be a phenomenal day to be with us. Make sure you guys are ready to fucking print. I'm telling you, man, based off this game plan and the levels we're trading at, this is going to be so fucking simple and easy to make money heading into tomorrow. We're going to absolutely fucking crush it. I mean, we've already crushed it over the fucking weekend. It's like, dude, we want to make money and print non-fucking stop. If we're seeing a no-brainer fucking meme coin to get in within the chat, I mean, I'll call it the fucking play. Like I said, I called it out at 6. It went to fucking 13. Ninja called out Trump at fucking, he called out the Trump coin at 10. It went to fucking 70. And, there was another play. I called out the dip at 34 in terms of today, man. I called out the trade that I was in. Let me see. That was at $34. Man, if I could find this, let's see. So yeah, man. $6.02 for the Molina coin. That went to like 13 already, I think. And then before that, I bought the exact lows on the dip at 4:53 p.m. Trump at $34. So like I said, man, it's like the weekends, man, it's like, dude, we want to print all fucking day. So I mean, if I'm seeing some sort of investment opportunity, we'll drop it in the chat. Always pay attention to Ninja within the chat. He drops really good swing trades and investments. That's what he tends to do best, is the swing trades and investment ideas within the chat, right? So yeah, it's the first link down below in the description if you want to get access to my secured private organization and you want to get access to our real-time 0-to-8 options trade alert system. With that being said, I'm going to be signing off. I will see you guys within the next lesson.